Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice!
Activists and far-left lawmakers outraged over the death of a homeless man on the New York City subway. Graphic video showing a U.S. Marine putting 30-year-old Jordan Neely in a chokehold after witnesses say that Neely was out of control, throwing garbage and threatening other riders. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg is now investigating what happened after the city's medical examiner ruled the death as a homicide. Police confirming that the homeless man had more than 40 prior arrests and reportedly had an active warrant out for felony assault. The Marine taken into custody after the incident, but was later let go without any charges at this time. Squad lawmakers lashing out against the Marine. AOC calling him a murderer. Jamal Bowman describing it as a public execution. And Ayanna Pressley says the death was a lynching. But Mayor Eric Adams thinks these comments are out of line.
I don't think that's very responsible at the time where we're still investigating the situation. Let's let the DA conduct his investigation with the law enforcement officials. To really interfere with that is not the right thing to do. And I'm going to be responsible and allow them to do their job and allow them to determine exactly what happened here. So we cannot just blatantly say what a passenger should or should not do in a situation like that. We should allow the investigation to take its course.
Subway crime is a big problem for New York City. So far this year, there have been 139 robberies, 131 felony assaults, 1 rape, and 1 murder. And we've shown you countless videos of attacks on commuters, critics blasting AOC for not even commenting on those crimes, and pointing out how the Congresswoman dismissed the idea of adding more cops to the subway.
Subway crime is up, but let's also note that subway crime is up after they committed so many more officers to the subway system. So that also tells us from a policy perspective, adding more cops to the subway isn't solving this problem. Mm-hmm. So there are other things that can solve this problem.
She's not taking the subway. You don't take the subway to the Met Gala. And we asked the Brain Room today, has she commented at all on any of the other crimes? Remember, for example, all the women who have been attacked? Turns out, answer is no.
No, if there's a race factor, that's when she pipes up. I have a lot of respect for Eric Adams after listening to that statement. A lot of respect. You don't know what someone's capable of, and when you're trapped in a box, throttling through Manhattan underground, and this is what this guy was screaming, according to witnesses. I want food. I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm ready to go back to jail. I'll hurt anybody on this train. I don't care if I get a big life sentence. I'm ready to die. You're about this close to someone like that. And he's crazy, mentally ill, he's an ex-con. If you're a Marine, you're trained differently. You're not a regular citizen. You have training, and that training kicks into gear. And it looked like was trying to engage this man at first verbally, and then it got physical, and he was trying to restrain him. It was an accident. He was not trying to kill this person. He was trying to restrain them, subdue him, and other men joined in him in restraining this guy. It looks like what happened was an absolute tragedy. The guy obviously doesn't deserve to die like that. And we wish it didn't have to be a Marine stepping up. We wish a police officer had been there. AOC famously said she didn't want any police in the subway. If a policeman had been in that subway car, this would not have happened. I blame this guy's father, who's not in the picture. The mother is passed away. The city says they care so much about mental health, and they let mentally ill people wander the streets threatening people. He's been arrested 40 times and had a warrant out. How many judges let this guy skate? So I wish AOC would ride the subway once or twice just to get a vibe, because I'm hearing from a lot of women today, not women from all over the country, specifically women that take the subway in New York City. And they think about this a little differently than other people, and they know what it's like. And they're not saying, I'm glad this guy died. They said, finally, a man stepped up in the subway and protected us.
I absolutely agree with that. And, you know, a lot of people, Greg, that take the subway are ones that, you don't have a choice. There's a way to get into the city, and it's the most efficient way or the least expensive way to be able to get into the city for jobs that AOC would never do.
Yeah, anybody who's I rode the subway for years until it became unsafe. I've been in that situation, and what everybody does is essentially try to mind their own business or get off the train. And then luckily have never been in a situation where it gets that violent. But this feels like a Bernie Getz moment where everybody goes, okay, we're hitting the bottom here. This is bad. Permission to rant.
Sure.
Anyone accusing anyone else of supporting that guy of non-compassion can go screw themselves, right? We've been talking about what's going on in the subways. We've been talking about what's been going on the streets. The mentally ill being left to suffer on the street, the criminally deranged left on the street to attack and push women in front of trains and beat people over the head with pieces of wood. We've been talking about the danger to themselves and the dangers to others for years. And I have nothing but contempt for the outraged leftist who caused this, who ignored this. They are like the person on the subway who just gets on their phone and something like, I wonder, would AOC or anybody on the squad or what's his name, Chris Hayes, anybody like that, would they actually step in, right? I have to wonder, would they actually, would they see somebody being menaced by a violent felon? Would they actually try and intervene, or would they decide not to share the risk and just step away? Because metaphorically, that's what they've been doing for the last 5 years. So they're disgusting. If anybody says this is like George Floyd, no, it's because of George Floyd. Because since George Floyd, we've had the resulting chaos, the defunding, the emasculation of the police, egged on by the squad, by the media, by different media outlets, except CNN. That created the pathway and a void where you saw fewer police, and who had to fill the void? And we predicted this. Citizens were going to fill the void. We were going to talk. We didn't use the V word because everybody hated that word. But what was going to happen was there was going to be a moment where somebody has to make a choice. So about those bystanders, I think there were 3 guys, and I don't think they were all white, right? I don't know. They had to make a decision on their own. There was no police. They were adult men. It was on them, a chance to act, and they chose to act. And I support the fact that they thought people were in trouble. The left has emasculated law enforcement. These are the only people you can rely on. The message is, if you can't rely on them, you can't even take the subway anymore. This was a textbook person that would have been helped by the $800 million that somehow disappeared, right?
Yep.
There was money in this city for the homeless. What did the de Blasios do with it? This guy had 40 arrests, violence. He was a danger to others, and when he's a danger to others, he becomes a danger to himself.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.